I got turned on to you, or Abraham, in 1998. Over the years, away, and you came back into my life a couple of years ago when I had hit an extreme valley in my life. I was way far out of the vortex. And I asked for some things to come to me without knowing how to even get there because my vibration was so opposite.
But isn't that nice? Because it's always that way. You never need to know. If you'll stop needing to know how it's going to come and just want it to come, it'll come quicker. But you slow it down by trying to define how it's going to come. What you want is coming in ways that you haven't ever even seen before. So how are you going to explain how it's going to come if it's coming in a whole new way? So give that part of it up. Just let it come and know it's coming. Yeah.
Absolutely. I let go.
Yeah.
And what I wished for was love. And about a year passed, and the universe presented to me the love of my life, somebody, a friend of mine who I've known 20 years, and has delivered a whole new relationship and a whole new phase of this about a year ago. With this came something else I had wished for. She has a son, 6 years old. Dad's not in the picture, never laid eyes on the son. I'm a dad, instantaneously.
Yes.
And over...
Didn't see that coming either, did you?
I wished for it, but I thought it maybe would be biologically mine, but he wasn't. Energy.
It's vibrationally yours.
Exactly. And he's a blessing, and I love him so, and both of them. The question is when I see him misbehave, and I try over and over, and I'm a new parent, and I want to do things. I come from divorce, so I want to throw the ball with the kid and introduce him to tools and stuff that my dad didn't really do with me. The vortex. Don't
try to recreate anything. It's a new generation, it's a new relationship, it's a whole new person. Follow his lead.
That's what I'm specifically...
Otherwise you're cramming stuff down his throat he wants no part of.
I'm just trying to introduce him to things that maybe he'll like, but that's not...
But let his own life introduce him to things.
Okay.
In other words, what he wants to say to you, and he'll get good at it. Because this has been a long time coming too. What he wants to say to you is, don't try to create my vortex. Don't see yourself as the introducer to me. Life is introducing to me.
That part is fine.
Yeah?
The part that is just when I see him behave in a way is disturbing or is going to harm himself or the rest of the world. But how do I say...
For example, is he setting himself on fire?
No, but he'll break stuff. I saw him punching the dog. The stuff that I've told him several times that's not okay. How do I say no to what's bad and yes to what's good, and also allow him to be who he's going to be?
The most important thing, the basis that you want to start with is, you say, when he's bad, or when I see him do bad things. Those are two very different things, because he's never bad. He's in a process of becoming, he's in a process of unfolding, and sometimes he offers behavior that you're not in agreement with, but
I know this because I've seen several people behave aggressively or something like that and grow up to be not so great people.
So what happens is, you've got this habit of thought within you, and when you see a little bit of behavior from someone new, you superimpose over him something that's much bigger than what this moment really is about, and then your reaction is stronger than this moment is really asking for. In other words, what he's going to teach you, and this is what we wish for you above all other things, we wish for you to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I do, continuously, but after punching a dog in the face is not okay. It's abuse, right? I've asked him 3 times, and I see him do it the 4th time. He's deliberately doing something that's harmful to people or somebody.
So do you know what came before that?
No.
Do you know what the dog did to him? Do you know what the dog said to him?
It's a nice dog. No.
So
nothing.
You're walking into it. Have you asked him why? Or do you just automatically assume that there's no justification for it? In other words, what's this about?
I mean, this is one example. There's several examples where...
But what we're asking you, because you see, Everything that is turned to a thing, to a behavior, has a vibrational basis.
Yes.
What happens with most people is that they react to the thing, they react to the action without taking into consideration what the vibrational basis is. So can you find a way of soothing yourself in any way by understanding that there's a vibrational basis at the root of why he's punching the dog?
I mean, yes, and that's the second part of my question is how can I witness something that I know is harmful and stay in the vortex?
Well, you're asking him to do it. You're asking him to forget everything that he learned before. You're asking him to forget about how other people have treated him. You're asking him to not pay any attention to the vibrational basis of his life and be different than the momentum that's already going. And you're saying, I can't do it. I have to respond to what I've seen. And that's what he's saying. I'm responding to something that came before too. Because you're right, that is not natural behavior, but there is a reason for it. There is something going on with him that you want to understand a little bit, because if you just react, we get it that in this world where you're wanting your kids to behave in ways that they can be accepted by others, and you're not wanting them to do things that will get them in trouble, and you're not wanting them to be disrespectful, we understand all of that. But if you could take away from this gathering today the understanding that everything that became a thing, everything that became a punch, everything that became a verbal abusive word, everything that became a beautiful building, everything that has become a thing had a vibrational basis that came. There was momentum that came. And to ask someone to change their behavior without understanding what the vibrational basis is asking them to step off the cliff and float rather than fall.
No, but I'm explaining to him hitting a dog is wrong. That's the right thing.
Well,
hitting a dog is wrong.
We hear what you're saying, and we're not in disagreement with you that that's not a behavior that you're wanting to encourage. That's like asking him to run as fast as he can run right to the edge of the cliff and not fall off of it.
With explanation and like love and, hey, you know, this is the...
Are you listening to us at all?
Yes.
So there's a downhill slope and there's a 200-foot cliff, and he's running toward it, and you're saying, run as fast as you can, and when you get right to the edge of the cliff, don't hit the dog.
I am listening to you, but I'm explaining to you that's not what I do. I explained to him before he gets to the edge of the cliff, there's a cliff coming. Let's watch out for this. That's
really what we want to talk to you about. What kinds of conversations are you having? Because someone doesn't just all of a sudden hit a dog. There's something that was going on before. There's something that was going on vibrationally before that. Are you witnessing any of that? Or are you not even aware until the dog has been hit? Did you see him running towards the edge of the cliff? Did you see anything that happened before that?
Yes.
What did you see?
Several other blatant, disobedient, like, hey.
Disobedient of what? This is the thing.
There's a right thing to do, there's a wrong thing to do.
But you see what's happening? When you hold tight reins, when he sees you as the enemy, he won't hit you, but he'll hit that dog. And the dog will take it because the dog says, I know, buddy, I saw it coming. I saw it coming. I saw it coming. I know it's hard for you to have all of these ideas of what you want to do and somebody trying to sort of squelch your ideas. What was it like for you when you were his age? Were you obedient?
No, of course not.
And what happened when you were not obedient?
Well, I probably got spanked or, you know,
and
disciplined.
Did it make you obedient?
Eventually.
Well,
it made me search for a way for my vortex to not feel where I have to be obedient, but know what the right thing, what good is from bad.
So when someone doesn't feel free, when someone feels controlled, you haven't been in his life very long, and you have strong ideas about what parent and child relationship should be. And you're taking it really seriously, and it's admirable because you want to be really, really a good influence. But you're sort of jumping into the middle of some momentum and trying to stop it through action a little more than you're ever going to find successful. So you want to sort of come to understand what the momentum is that he's feeling. That's why we gave you the analogy of him running toward the cliff. So when we ask you the question, what happened before he hit the dog, can you give us some examples of what was going on that afternoon or that day or in the 5 or 10 minutes before that? What did you see?
First of all, I can't, but I'm giving this as an example, and there's several other times where, like, I know I'm not good. I have no previous experience doing this, and it's not about making him be good. I want to turn him on to you and the vortex and see what a 7-year-old can do with this information. I want to see his potential reached.
Here's what we want you to convey to him. We don't want you to make him be good. We want you to accept that he already is, even when he hits the dog. That's the thing that will help him the most, is if he hits the dog, which we agree with you, you don't want, the dog doesn't want, it isn't a good thing, but if he hits the dog and now you make him bad and wrong about that, you're trying to deal with life on an action basis rather than on a vibrational basis. This is the whole thing that we've been talking about all day long today. This is what's going wrong with the whole world. The whole world, to the degree that it is in trouble, it is because it is trying to deal with things with action rather than vibrationally. And when there's so much momentum that's already going, you can't stop the behavior, you see. So
I want to allow him to do as much as he can.
You want to allow him to feel free. You want to allow him to feel good. You want to encourage the best feeling behavior from him. You know what is the most hurtful thing to you about seeing him be belligerent and mean to somebody else is that you know that somebody feeling good doesn't do that. And so he can't be feeling good when he's doing that. If you found him in the street bleeding, you'd do everything that you could to soothe him and help him. But when you find him doing something that you consider as wrong, like punching the dog, now you want to punish him, you want to scold him, you want to spank him, you want to send him to his room.
I want to teach him that in the vortex, if you hit somebody else, somebody might hit you back. And the world, as you get older, is going to change.
Nobody hits you in the vortex.
Okay.
Nobody ever hits anybody in the vortex.
Law of attraction. Okay.
You're talking about the action world. You're talking about the consequences of the action world. But in doing so, this isn't easy. In other words, we feel your pain in the sense that we know what you're talking about. When you see someone behaving in a way that you want to stop that behavior, it seems like you want to jump right in the middle of that behavior and you want to nip it in the bud and you want to make it very clear how things are going to go and you want to lay down the rules and you want to enforce those rules. And we say, how is that working out for you? Well, as a society, as a civilization, it's not working out at all.
I feel like he's harming himself when he punches the dog. In the universal sense, he is, right? We're all connected.
So what you want to do is find a way of soothing him, even when he doesn't seem to be deserving of soothing in that moment. That really is what we're talking about here. And so we're asking you to do something that's hard to do. We're asking you to love him unconditionally.
I do.
He punched the dog in the face, and
I still loved him when he did it.
But you see, in the moment, you're not angry with him and loving him at the same moment. It's one or the other.
It wasn't anger. I didn't say angry. I love him all the time. It's when I see something he's doing wrong.
Then what?
I feel like I need to teach him that it's wrong from right, because I feel like he hasn't learned it yet.
What's actually happening is he's come to teach you.
Absolutely.
He's coming to teach you that if you can love me even when I'm doing something wrong, you've got it figured out, Dad. If you can see me doing something wrong and you cannot go to the wrongness of my behavior, but instead you can go to the unconditional love that is really who you are, and you can love me even though I'm doing something that is so in your face, so in the dog's face wrong, then you've got it. And you don't have it yet, and almost no one would. In other words, we're talking to every parent, we're talking to everybody who's trying to control anything. How angry do you get at the behavior of someone else and need them to be different so that you can feel better, and how trapped you are, you see.